program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
The wind has picked up since this morning's sunrise safari. The animals are leaping from the trees. And this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm too scared to show you my face because guess who's about to walk out in front of the road? We have a leopard. Hello, and with those tatty ears, straight away I think it's Mr. Mvula. But as he disappears in the long grass, let me very quickly get some housekeeping out of the way. Ooh, hi, what a great start. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is, of course, Sebastian, and he's bringing you all this wonderful footage. And how incredible is that? I can't believe we've just had a leopard to start it off. We had a squirrel jump from the top of a silver cluster leaf, the largest distance I've ever seen before, crash down and land on the floor. My goodness. So if you have any questions for us on this live and interactive safari, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And well, this is so exciting. Off we go. Right, there's no waiting to get into the off-roading this afternoon, but it's not me just out and about. Of course, you've already met Ellie and Gert. They're also driving around, but you'll meet them a little bit later. Let's go and see a bit more of this leopard. Now, whew, that's probably one of the most exciting starts I've had here yet at Safari Live. And here's the leopard. Now, I'm quite a big boy, but like I said, with those very, very tatty ears, they stand out like an absolute sore thumb. And being in this area, plus we know that Tingana is on a warthog kill in Chitwa. He was seen this morning on the sunrise safari with Ellie and Gert, as well as Tandi being around, and Kuchava also lurking about in the area. So my goodness, so that's the third leopard for the day. And it seems as though our old man, even though I say he's an old man, he's not that old, but I always just think of him as more senior to Tingana. He's looking for something to eat, and he's chosen a very, very, very good day to go about hunting. It's nice and cool, it's not too warm, and with this wind rustling, it's a predator's dream. Ideal conditions. You've seen how easily he's able to maneuver through the grass. He's not worrying about where he's putting his feet, because the wind will cover up any rustling that is caused by the grass, or if he stands and crunches down on a leaf. Now, I hope you are all sending in questions and all these types of things. Very exciting. Now, no one likes me. I don't like your name very much, because I can't think that that's true. I'm sure somebody likes you. You're wondering how old this leopard is. I think he's around, if I'm not mistaken, 9 or 10, but maybe you can correct me. I haven't seen Mvula for I don't even know, months? Maybe at the beginning of the year was the last time that I got to see him. Maybe even last year. It's been that long ago, so I have actually forgotten. But he's not a particularly young leopard, but not quite as old as Kruger. But let's keep up with him before he heads down into these drainage lines, because once he heads down over here, our job is going to become very, very difficult to try and follow him. But we'll do our absolute best. So this is very nice. Lots of little shrubs. Where did you go? He's just standing in here. Are you going to lay down now? No, he's changed direction. Okay. Well, luckily for us, it seems as though we were off-roading in this section maybe a couple of months ago at one point, because there seems to be an old track here. I think he has spotted something up ahead, because every now and then he stops and he pauses and he has a look. So I want to actually try and stay behind him. We won't be able to get through there, so we'll have to make a way through here. Whew! This is so exciting. My goodness. Alice, did anybody confirm exactly how old Mvula is? If he is about 8 or 9? Okay, just be very careful here. Oh, this is going to be a disaster. Right, we've got thorn trees all over us. Sorry, Sebastian's just grabbing it. Are you ready? Just a knob thorn that has been pushed over by elephants quite some time ago. Had to go through there. Alright. I apologize, I'm just trying to concentrate and keep an eye on him. He is going that way, so we need to try and find a gap to keep up with him. But it's tricky, and it's just going to get worse from here, unfortunately. Right. So I believe that he was born, he said he was born in 2005, so 12. There he is, he's just in here. 12 years old, so he's actually older than what I thought. I don't know why I thought he was only about 8 or 9. So he's an old man then, I suppose. He only shows it in his ears. I think the rest of him looks in pretty good nick. He doesn't look as sort of fit as Tingana does. He's definitely the prettier one. And a question from Mercedes, which is he still able to mate? Most certainly, of course he is. Now, he's not the dominant leopard in this area anymore. Tingana has taken the reign from him. However, if there are any females in estrus and they're nearby him, he's not going to just go, oh no, I can't mate with them at all. I have to leave it to Tingana. He's the dominant male. He'll try and sneak in as well. And we actually see this quite often. Tingana thinks he's very clever, but I think Mvula is quite smart. Because sometimes you'll see he'll kill something and Tingana will come through. There won't even be an altercation about it, and he'll leave Tingana with a meal and he'll go off and catch something else and then feast upon it still within the area. It's like he just gives them little treats every now and then, or he's paying rent, and that's his sort of quota that he's got to give every month. He's got to supply so many antelope to Tingana, and they're quite happy moving in between each other. Now, Mom Polly, you're wondering if Mvula has hunted something recently. It didn't look like it. It didn't look like he had a huge belly, but he doesn't look thin either. So he's probably eaten in the last 24 hours, 48 hours or so. And he's looking for his next meal now. I don't know what he's spotted. He's smelling something. He keeps putting his nose up towards the sky. And what a beautiful cat. So he's definitely after something. Again, lots of kudu, lots of steenbok, duiker, all those types of things in this area. I'm so glad we decided to come down this way. You know where we were going? We were going to do birding again in the guarri thickets. Right. Let's head up this way. Now, Eddie, as he walked past, he said his neck looked swollen. I just had a look at it now as Alice fed me that question. I didn't see anything particular. Again, I'm just pushing the small branches of a knob thorn that was pushed over. I've also now ripped my pants on the thorns. I don't think that his neck looked particularly swollen. He does have quite a large dewlap underneath his chin, which is excess skin. So that could maybe be what you're talking about. But it doesn't really look like that at all. But anyways, we got a bit of off-roading to do to catch up to him. I'm going to send you across to Ellie so she can officially say hello and let her know what her plans are.
Hello everyone! We are quite excited, but before I do all the talking, let's just take one moment because I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to hear this again. We have found a family of ground hornbills and they are calling quite a lot. So I'm just going to let you guys hear them before we do any more talking. This is incredible, guys. We've been looking for them. We were looking for them this morning and we could hear them in the distance, but very luckily now a herd spotted them on top of this dead tree. Incredible. Now I think we are looking at the female. She's the one on the right that has got the blue underneath her beak. The male is the one in the middle, the one with the very enlarged throat, and then two youngsters from probably different litters. The one on top seems to be the younger one, and the one at the bottom seems to be slightly older, just because his colors seem to be slightly brighter. Let's just take one moment to appreciate this. This is a very, very special sighting. This is incredible. Now, I think what we're looking at is they're going to start breeding in the next few months or so, around about end of July, August. So what we're looking is very likely the beginning of their courtship displays, and where the males and the females are going to call to reinforce their bond before the breeding season comes along. And these birds are not all too common to see around this area, and especially not common at all see them calling towards one another, sitting down in such perfect view. So we have gotten definitely very lucky with these beautiful birds. Nathan, you're wondering if there's scavengers like vultures. No, they can also do their own hunting. However, if there's a kill, they might just have a few bites. But normally they specialize in hunting tortoises and reptiles and frogs that they found on the ground when they go foraging. Oh, this is so incredibly special. I don't think... What a day we've had already with this fantastic creatures looking at us. Are you done? And seems like just like that, then this fantastic concert that we were invited to hear has finished. We've had all 4 of them flying off. Who knows, perhaps they've gone into feeding. So, sorry guys, my name is Ellie, and on camera today with me I've got Gert, and the reason why I didn't introduce ourselves earlier on was because, well, we were enjoying such a spectacular sighting of these creatures. I think that was wonderful. We got very, very lucky just to be able to see such a long display and just see how much their throat fills up with air to be able to make this guttural sound. And then we had the youngsters around, so very, very excited that we got to see this. And like I said earlier on, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to post them using the hashtag #SafariLive. Now I'm gonna see if perhaps we can find them again, because this was quite exciting. But while we do that, let's go over to Taylor, who manages to find another leopard on a very interesting Monday.
We have indeed, we're sitting with him still. In case you have just joined us, we are with Mvula, one of the male leopards, one of the older boys in this area. Now we've just gone down into a drainage line, when he's just about to. He went up and around, and I need to see if he is going to go down. Did he go down? I think he did. Now there's a spot that we can cross. We've just got to go back and then through, and I hope he carries on and does cross and doesn't walk parallel with this drainage line, otherwise we're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. Okay, let's go down here, then we won't be able to follow him. Now the whole thing is, I don't want to have to go in there because I know that there's lots and lots of trees. But we might be able to go through this way and around and then back in. So again, I'm so sorry if I don't turn around and look you all in your lovely eyes. I just need to focus my head forward so I can spot him. and then also, of course, trying to find a spot to get down. I haven't seen any prey around here just yet. Not even a scrub hare has come running out of the bushes. No daker just yet, but I think if he continues around here and the birds don't give his presence away, he might get lucky and find himself a meal. I hope he does. No, have you got him? Oh, is he shot through? Sorry, watch out. I've just got a massive hole here. Can you see him from here? No. I think I'm too low down. You won't get him from here. Okay, just watch that thorn tree that knobs on. I'll go. This is a bit scary here with all the holes. I still can't see him. I think I'm a bit low. Have I got a big hole that side? So do I? But like how far away? Oh, that one over there. There's nothing here. Okay. I don't want to tip the car. We're going through drainage lines, and there's lots and lots of diggings down here. Where have you gone? I can't see him anymore. I don't know where he's disappeared to. Was he still going up that way? Okay, let's go up here. Let me go back. Well, this is of course the hard part, is trying to keep up with my cats as they move through these drainage systems. Again, I'm glad I'm not in Wendy. Oh no, man, that's not even a deep hole. What are you talking about? This is I'm very difficult to try and concentrate and navigate through these spots. Okay, we need to try and find this leopard again. Oh, we got him? Yeah. How far away is he? Is he coming down here?
He's going that way.
Okay.
No.
Going east. So he's here somewhere. Okay, I think what we're going to do though is we're going to keep searching for him and try and find a way to catch up with this leopard again. But I'm going to send you back across to Ellie while we bundu bash.
Amazing was that to start the drive with none other than a leopard walking down the road. Well, I think he was walking down the road, but that's pretty interesting. Just as we've been saying today, the minute that you think that you sort of somewhat understand what's happening with all the leopards around here, you just throw another wheel in the spanners or another spanner in the wheels in the works. However that expression goes, because I can't really think about it right now. And then out of everything, Mvula pops up in this area. Incredible. I'm sure he knows Tingana's quite at a distance, so that's why he's probably feeling so brave and walking up and down Djuma, because the only time that I have seen him on Djuma was when Tingana was quite far away, which is the case again today. Now, I was saying just a little bit earlier during the pre-show, just in case you guys missed it, that I spoke to Dylan, who's Brent's brother that works at Chitwa, and he was at the sighting we had this morning earlier on, and he did mention that Thandi was looking quite flirty with Tingana. So I wonder if perhaps she is going into heat. She could potentially, although we all feel like Tamba is perhaps a little bit too young for her to start mating. But the wild is the wild and anything can happen. But I have also said that I have seen leopards, and well, more than leopards, actually lions in the past, where the females try to pretty much present themselves and get the attention of the males so that they can force the males or sort of sneak them away from their cubs. And like I said, I've seen lions do it quite often with, especially when there's a pride take over a new coalition of males. So it becomes a bit of a game and mind games, so to speak. So I wonder if perhaps Thandi is playing a man game, or if she is actually ready to have her next litter. I think now it's even going to get more interesting, as we know she's had that intention, so we've got to pay attention to whatever it is that she's going to be doing for the next few days and see what is happening and what is she's going to get up to. Now I want to see, perhaps, no, we are close to the area where that hawk eagle's nest is. However, I think from the distance and judging from what I can see, I don't think anybody's home, so I'm going to carry on onto this road as I want to get to Buffelshoek Dam and see if perhaps there's anything up there. I would love it for the elephants to be up in Buffelshoek Dam having a drink. I haven't seen elephants there yet, so here's to hoping that maybe we'll have some of the giants all the way up there drinking some water. Like we were saying earlier, is a bit... What are you? That's a little... Can you just zoom in on that one? That's a little bird of prey. Interesting. Maybe we can add a new one for our books. Let's see. I just want to get my binoculars quickly and try to see what it is that we're looking at. Now you have got... Is that a red or a black eye? I think you have got a black eye by the looks of it, so I'm quickly going to check on this book. Red eye. So if it's got a red eye, my money is on the Shikra, just judging by size. Yes, I think that is what it is, a Shikra. Just so the easy way to tell, and I am hoping that I'm not going crazy, is the eyes are red and the legs are yellow, and just the supercilium, or that little part on top of the beak, that is yellow. So it's a good way of defining them. Had the eye been yellow, then maybe it would have been something different, like a little sparrowhawk. So I actually, when I saw it flying, I thought it looked a bit too puffy to be a dove, and I thought it was holding on to something, but it seems like maybe not. So here's a cool little one to tick off our lists, in case you are keeping a list. And a nice one, a nice little raptor flying around. I think maybe he was blown away by the wind, and that's why he had to go back onto the branch of the tree to protect itself. I mean, look at the wind blowing the branch and its feathers. It always reminds me of that Bob Dylan song, Blowing in the Wind. This currents of air and this wind, if the breeze gets a lot stronger, then they're going to struggle to flash around. So likely we're not going to be able to see too many birds. Off it goes. Seems like somebody is struggling. We're not going to be able to see too many birds as they fly away. George, you say it almost looks like a dove. It does. It's great. Now let me show you here on the book. Oh, I lost the page. Well, that's not ideal. What have I done? I've gone on to falcons now. Alright, there we go. I was just on... So, there were a few options that we could have played around with. So this is the one we were looking at, the Shikra. So, easy way to describe it, as I said, you can look at it's got a red eye, yellow top of the beak, and then the legs are yellow as well. So that's the little one that flew on top of us, and then it had that barring that's not too perceptible all around its chest. Now, it's quite a common species of bird around here. I think maybe this is what it was, because all of the other options don't seem to be what it was. Now, I'm counting on the eye being red, so if you guys think that the eye perhaps was not red, you can let me know, and then we could see what else it could have been. But I think that was pretty much what it was, judging by all the different options that we've got over here on the book. So, I'm quite happy with this one. I think he's flown away, just like a dove, and it's so sneaky. I'm sure that allows them to blend in with their prey, because if we think it's a dove, imagine all the little birds around here, and they're like, oh, you know, there's a dove coming, and boom, there comes a little one. Grabs them, kills them, and takes them away. Maybe that's a bit too dramatic, I'm sorry. I got carried away imagining the superpowers of a little bird of prey. Alright, well that was good. Let's see, what else do you have prepared for us, universe, on this wonderful road that we have chosen. So far it seems to be the best birding road. That ground hornbill sighting we had was just absolutely stunning. It was incredible. I don't think I've ever had such a great sighting. Might be my best time for now. And I say for now because I'm open to having even a better one sometime in the future. Alright, big grey elephants. Where art thou? Seems like a lot of people love the ground hornbill sighting, and it sounded like a percussion. I know it's a, I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but they always remind me of those, they called water sticks. I'm not too sure what the correct name in English would be for that instrument that it's almost like it's a stick and then it's got things inside, and as you move it around, it almost sounds like the water is coming down. So what?
Rain stick.
Rain stick. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think one of the names in Spanish is also rain stick, roughly translated, which proves that I cannot speak English or Spanish today. So they always remind me of that noise, and I think I love it. I think it's wonderful. And today we were a bit sad when we heard them calling far away from us in areas that we can't go, so very good to find it there. I think Kurt was quite happy to see them too. And just how impressive that throat of the male was, like that big orangey stuff coming through. It almost looked like he was about to explode. I thought it was quite funny and very, very special for sure. Alright. Little birds, little doves, and elephants. That's what we're looking for. Crazy things. Now you see, after that little bird of prey, we haven't seen any other bird on the road, so I wonder if perhaps they are actually not grounded, and by grounded I mean forced to not fly because of the wind that can very easily just sway them in a completely different direction, and they're going to have to spend a lot more energy if they have to go against the wind. So it might just be easier just to stay put. I think I heard some birds, but can't really picture from where. Anyway, we shall carry on and see what else there is. Nothing around here. There was also an old den, or more like a burrow, that Craig and I found on a drive along this road. So who knows, maybe we're gonna go and have a look from this side of the road, because it's just on the other side of the drainage line, but it's got a perfect view from here to see if it's being used. Whoop, my book. I think the last thing that was using it was potentially a warthog, because we went and checked during the day and it looked quite clean. We couldn't find any tracks, which was funny enough, and definitely nothing inside of the den, so it must belong to one of the diurnal creatures. So our best guess was a warthog, but it would be quite nice to be able to find one that we can see and then come very early in the morning and just see the warthogs coming out. That would be obviously, especially not with Tingana around, because he is the wonderful piglet hunter. Right, seems like Taylor has got news for us, so let's go over to her and see where did Mvula go.
Right, I'm not sure where Mvula's gone now. We lost him, unfortunately. He was moving through this drainage system coming east, but we haven't been able to keep up with him. I have to move this there's a little insect or so sitting on your lens. So we've just positioned ourselves up here to have a look to see if we can see anything. Now, eventually we navigated out of the very thick block. My goodness, that was some serious off-roading that we did, and we gave it our best efforts to try and follow him, but we just weren't quick enough for Mvula. So he came east towards Galago Shortcut, and now he's somewhere in here. I haven't seen any tracks crossing over just yet. So this is the hard part, and the ground is very hard here. Right, let's go back again. We'll just keep going up and down, and hopefully we'll get him. But we can check around here, but later, and also keep an eye out on the dam cam if you can, because he might go there, just cut through all these drainage lines and go all the way back around, or he's probably going to cross out north. Okay, let's carry on. I don't know where he's going to go. He could have already caught something in there because it's so windy. we wouldn't have even heard the faintest distress call. There are lots of impala and warthog up ahead though. Now Bronwyn, as we drive around, you're wondering if we're restricted to where we can and can't go. If you're talking just about off-roading, most certainly you can't off-road over sodic sites. There's certain vegetation types that you've got to be respectful of, and you can't drive over them. When there's a certain amount of rain, then you're also restricted to where you can't drive. So most certainly, and then of course there's all the traversing and agreements that we have with the various properties. We can drive on certain properties, they can drive on us. So yeah, we are restricted, but he's not anywhere near a boundary just yet. If he does go far east, he'll probably cross over Buffels or Cutline, but that's still quite a way to go. But the only thing is he's much quicker at navigating through this thick stuff than I am. So he could honestly be anywhere by now. He could have already crossed over. So I'm thinking maybe, because we were stuck in that block for a good 10 minutes, maybe we must go to Gallagher Pan, the little pan, and could go down there and just have a look, and then, because that would be the next drainage line that he'd head to. But I'm just quadruple checking as we turn around and head back towards the road that he's not going to just pop up behind me, because that could easily happen too. We could just miss him. But he's hungry. He's on the search for something to eat, and I hope he finds something. So nice, because it'd be nice if he sticks around. We haven't seen him for a while. I know he's been sighted quite a lot recently at Sydney's dam and in the Manuleti. Ellie, you said that this is your first sighting of Tingana. Well, congratulations. It does take a bit of time, of course, to see these animals. I still haven't seen Tundi. That's a leopard that's avoided me. Or also, for instance, the Anderson male. So don't feel too bad about it. It might have taken you a couple of months to see him, but these things do happen. I think Tundi's also avoided Ali, which is quite funny. The two of us. Right, let's go here. Let's go into Gallagher shortcut. Just going to turn the radio down. There's no tracks coming out here whatsoever, and it doesn't help that it is windy, not only because it's muffling sound, but if he does walk and a bit of big gust comes through, it can also make his tracks look a little bit older, and then you can quite easily mistaken them perhaps for hyena tracks if you're not concentrating. There's some magpie shrikes shouting. What are you shouting at? Are you shouting at a leopard? Nah, it sounds like they're just calling. The Impala are up ahead with some warthogs. So that's the magpie shrike that's making all the noise. There's a couple of them. There's also a few hornbills around here. Let's go up a little bit further. I just want to show you the Impala and warthogs, and then we'll quickly check down here. Hello, Impala. Where's the warthogs gone? There was a whole family of them in here. There was a nice buffet of animals for Mvula to choose from. Now, no one likes me. Thank you for all your questions this afternoon. And if you would like to ask questions, just as no one likes me is, remember to hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. And the question from you was, what is the favorite meat that the leopards like to eat? They don't have a preference. We have noticed, if you can hear that noise, sorry, that's an aeroplane just flying over their head. Obviously just dropped some guests off, maybe at Chitwa Lodge or Arathusa. And basically in this time of the year, when the vegetation starts to get quite thin, you'll notice that they feed on the duiker and the steenbok quite a bit in the winter months because they're exposed and they're on their own too. So they're solitary. Sometimes you see them in pairs when the male is courting the female. But other than that, you know, not having many eyes and ears like we see with the gregarious animals such as Impala or warthogs, for example, they've got a better chance of spotting the predator before they get spotted. So they will go for the smallest things, and then when the animals rut, when the Impala rut, sorry, they tend to go for Impala because they're not concentrating as much and they're a bit silly and they're quite vulnerable. They also get quite tired and Their condition is not as good as what it normally is. From mating with all the females, that's what they're really focused on. So there's another opportunity for them. So they'll take different types of things throughout the year, and again, they're opportunistic. So if something just stumbles towards them, they'll probably go for that too. The warthogs have obviously run off somewhere. So I think let's go. Let's see if we can go and check that pan. We turn around again. Ooh, we're going to eat our dust now. My goodness. I think he's going to stick to the drainage lines, to be honest, so we'll just keep driving around here. And our Doug, you were wondering, would the grazers, as it moves into the dry months, would they move down to the rivers to feed? Most certainly. You'll find that the animals do about 70 odd percent, about 73% I think it is. They'll spend most of their time feeding along drainage systems and rivers. It's where the vegetation is sort of most lush. So there's still a nice amount of nutrients in them. They're quite healthy. The yellower the grass gets, the less tasty and palatable it is. So it doesn't necessarily have enough sustenance. They'll need to eat more of it. So yes, they do move down there. You're quite correct in saying that. And then also, if you have any rain, if you have any random downpours, the animals will head in that direction too. They'll start following that. But we're going to keep zigzagging through these drainage lines, and hopefully Mvula will show himself again. Ellie has arrived at Buffelshoek Dam. I wonder if that hippo that we saw this morning is still there.
We've come all the way to Buffelshoek Dam. Unfortunately, no elephants over here, but our very loyal hippo that was here has now decided to go down underneath the water. That was not nice, but just have a look at the water. You can just appreciate how much the wind is blowing just by looking at all the ripples in the water. So quite a cold day up here. Where are you? Come back up. Where have you gone? Alright, seems like somebody is afraid of getting very cold ears. So, I wonder, we're going to stick around a few more minutes, see if perhaps he does come. Oh, there we go. Yes, there we go. You have been moving. Beautiful. And back down. Now, the last few times that I've been up and around Buffelshoek Dam, it's always been quite windy, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't enjoy the wind all that much, so he's just... Sorry guys, I'm just going to turn off my radio because there's a lot of chatter that's going in my head that I don't really need. And now we can really appreciate the sighting in silence the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. Now, like I was saying, the last few times that I've been around here, the hippo keeps coming up and down and then he moves around, but I think it's the wind that he doesn't like, because I've been here before where there's no wind and he's just very placidly in there. I do think that he's got a bit of an attitude, but not towards us. I think likely just the fact that there's something around here that he can smell, but he probably cannot hear it properly. I don't think that's a combination of factors he enjoys, so he quickly goes down into the water because that's where he feels the safest. So very common for hippos is just to run to the water because this is pretty much home for them. This is a safe area, and they become very, very aggressive or terribly dangerous if you get caught in between them and the water, either by accident or if you're trying to look for them. They feel that you getting in their way is a potential threat for them because water is where they are more comfortable in. So a lot of the times that's when the major attacks happen, and especially during the winter time when they are out and about grazing until later on in the morning. So in the rural areas when people approach the water, sometimes they get caught in between the water and the hippos. And very quickly, should the hippos disappear into the water. Ricky, you're wondering if hippos come in and out of the water to breathe. Yes, they do. They cannot breathe underwater, so every now and again, even if it's just their nostrils, you'll see that they'll put those ones up and then they'll come back down into the water. A very big hippo, like the one that we're looking at now, he can hold his breath for about 8 to 10 minutes, so quite a long time, where you can just very easily come to the dam and just see around and think that there's not one living creature in here. I mean, look how wonderful this looks, and no sign of a hippo, other than because we already know that he was here because he's had his head out when we initially arrived. George, you say that it amazes you how much water there is in this dam at the moment. Yeah, it's good. It's been full for quite a while, and I think this is going to be one of the last standing dams as the dry season carries on. However, in just the last 2 weeks that I've been here, we can almost appreciate how the water level has gone down, especially if you look around. I think maybe if you can zoom in here into that. Over there where the terrapins are, it's very clear to see where the water level was and where the water is right now. So if you see where the terrapins are, you can see that it's a lot darker underneath. So that's pretty much how much the water has gone down, probably in the last month or so. Tina, you're wondering if they pump water into this dam during the dry season. They do not pump any of the pans on Djuma, only Gowrie Dam, which is the dam that is in front of the lodge, is the only dam that gets pumped or artificially pumped. The rest of them, this is all pretty much has been collected from the rainy season. It's water that while it rained, it just made it deeper and deeper and allowed the hippo to come and live here. So this hippo's home is subject to how hot it's going to get before, and how much evaporation there's going to be before the next rainy season comes along. Xavier, you're wondering how far do the hippos travel away from the dam to feed during the night? Well, they are known to be able to walk up to 10 kilometers away from the water source where they initially started from, depending on the vegetation around them. So if there isn't too much, then we'll have to walk a lot further away to satisfy their nutritional needs. Going down into the water again. I would really like to be a hippo. Super Dude, you're wondering how fast can hippos run? Well, inside of the water, funny enough, because they don't float, they can run in the water. They can reach a speed of about 8 kilometers an hour, and I think outside of the water it's between 35 and 40 kilometers an hour. So not even from these big hippos can we run away. Us as humans here, our best chance, I would say, is just to be able to climb a leopard and climb a tree and get away from them, because pretty much anything is a lot quicker than us. So that's why they are so dangerous. They're very quick inside of the water and outside of the water. I think this hippo wants a bit of privacy today, as he hasn't come up, so we're going to carry on with our search, see if perhaps we can find any more elephants, or any elephants. But while I do that, let's go over to Taylor and see how the Mvula tracking is going.
Not going very well, unfortunately. We're now staring into the distance across the other side of the drainage, hoping to spot the spotted cat. Now, no luck in tracks. The ground is quite hard. There's a lot of wind. We're trying to listen out for alarm calls, and there hasn't been much yet. There's a little bit of chatter coming from Franklin, deep in the bushes, but I can't see anything just yet. It's quite far down there in the drainage. He was sort of coming this way, and he can move so much quicker. But that's actually very pretty. So we're on an off-road track. This is actually where the lions were the other morning. And I'm just sitting here because there's a big animal pathway that goes down. So I wondered if we're patient and maybe we wait a couple of minutes. If there is a leopard here, maybe he'll come walking on one of these routes that have already been sort of planned out for him. It's a lot easier than to try and use the ways that we were driving and try and sneak in between all the bushes. It's virtually impossible. But we'll just keep checking here. Let's have a little listen though. Let's see if we can hear any other subtle alarm calls in the distance. Oh, that chatter from the Franklin has definitely slowed down. So I don't think it was particularly anything too serious. Otherwise we would have heard a lot more. We probably would have heard that and wings flapping as they normally do when there's a big predator down on the ground. They'll then position themselves up in the tree. And it wasn't that nervous also sort of call that they'll then do when they are perched up in the tree. So I don't think it was the leopard that was here. I hope I'm wrong though. I'd quite happily be wrong in this case. Okay, let's go around. Let's do another... We'll give it one more bash. Seeing as though we've invested so much time into this search for leopards already. Let's go around. Ooh, which way do we go? Now, Holly, you're wondering if I know who Mvula's parents are. I haven't, unfortunately, got the faintest idea who Mvula's parents are, but I know that there are some long-standing viewers who know the answer and are jumping up and down, putting their hands up, saying, pick me, pick me. So I'm going to let you do the honors. You can hashtag Safari Lion. Perhaps you've got the lineage of Mvula. And I know with all the new viewers, with all the leopards, it's actually quite nice. Maybe you could share a couple of them if you have put your own personal ID kits together. Otherwise, what you could also do, Holly, is that the leopards and lions of the Sabi Sands are some of the most studied animals in the world. So, can you believe this? They all have their own Facebook page. So you can actually go onto Facebook and type in Mvula male leopard. That's Mvula, and a page of his might pop up actually, and you can have a look. Okay. So Domke, you've said that Mvula's father is Tambela. Well, that's quite nice. I haven't heard of him before. I think some of these leopards now sort of pre-Tingana, pre-Mvula, even pre-Kruger, so like Safari, like her mother, I haven't ever heard of. I wasn't in the sands. I've only been in the sands since 2015. So I've been in the sands now for, yeah, just over 2 years. So I'm still getting there. I'm still learning the ins and outs of all the leopards. Every now and then somebody talks about a leopard from 10 years ago and I'm going, oh my goodness, I didn't even know that one existed. So I'm still learning too about them all. There's old lion tracks on this road from this morning and they're fooling me. They're making me think that the leopard walked back down and past here, but I don't think that he has. But we'll just go all the way back onto Buffalo's cut line and then weave our way back around. Well, I got some battle wounds from that off-roading session. Did you, Sebastian?
Maybe my jacket.
Maybe your jacket. A couple of holes?
Maybe, yeah.
We're going to have to do some patchwork. Maybe we can get some cool patches, like elephant patches or Batman ones. You know, we can go superheroes. My clothes would then be completely littered with badges of sorts. So this is where all the lions moved through this morning. They crossed right over here. Up over the dam wall, that's Tambweti Dam and Buffelshoek, and then they went further north, or further northeast. They didn't, I didn't get an update on what they killed or if they did make a kill or not, but their lioness did have a little bit of blood on her, so they could have maybe caught something small. Maybe they just snatched up Impala and the adults ate it all, and there wasn't enough for the youngsters, so they would be quite disappointed. That definitely could have happened, because they were quite... Now, Monique, you were also actually wondering about that, the news on the Nkuhumas. I don't sadly have much to update you on. I did hear though on the radio, it sounded like the whole pride wasn't together, because one of the guides kept commenting that they were doing quite a bit of contact calling. So I can only imagine that the pride was slightly split up. So I don't know if they ever got together and regrouped, but I'm sure they'll be around, and as the safaris start now, people will start looking for them, and I'll keep my ear out and keep listening to see if they do give another update on the Nkuhumas. Who have we got there flying about? Are you a martial eagle? Well, we're wanting to see a martial eagle this morning as well. There's a massive bird of prey, but it's moved off quite far into the block. It looked like a vulture originally, but I don't think we'll get a shot of it. Okay, let's carry on. We'll do this shortcut of Gallagher and then we'll jump on the main road, go past, have a look, see if there's any more developments. Ellie is still managing to do a bit of birding even with today's wind.
We have, but I'm not too sure how lucky we're gonna get for the rest of the day. We just wanted to stop here and just show you what lies ahead of us. And what lies ahead of us are a lot of clouds. I think slowly but surely they've been coming roughly from the southwestern side, and it seems like they're taking over. And I'm sure there's wind. That's why it's been blowing so much. It's been bringing this storm. Well, not this storm, but at least these clouds that are going to settle in. So it's quite common for the winter time for us to get this cold fronts and get so many clouds coming into the area and just bringing wind and just making everything colder for a few days. And then as they move off, then it becomes bearable once more. So I think we have a few cold days ahead of us, and you can just see it's looking very, very dark. And I wonder if perhaps we're going to get a few drops of rain. I am a bit scared, but nonetheless, we're gonna try. There are still some bright patches of this beautiful blue sky, so hopefully it'll stay open like that for the rest of the afternoon. But if not, I've got a beautiful road ahead of me, and I think the clouds always add a bit more flavor into the scenery. So let's carry on down here and see what else we can find. Maybe Shongile, Hosanna, and the elephants, of course, that I'm still looking for. But if there's something elephants do not like, is this wind. So I think I'm gonna head back towards the Molawati, perhaps go and check the drainage line down there and see if we get lucky with some of the elephants. And before I forgot to mention earlier on, the sticks were also found this morning, but they were found on Shirley's, which is one of the non-commercial properties south of us, and it seems like they were on a kill, and apparently all the cubs were accounted for. So good to know another lion pride we see every now and again is still doing well. So good to share some of the news. All right, let's see. Woo. Alright, maybe I'm gonna have to start putting on my jacket a lot earlier today. I feel like we can be brave and move on to the darkness. Off we go. Falls, you're wondering how long does the winter last at Djuma? Well, pretty much about 6 months, I would say. So theoretically, winter should be from May roundabout until September, and then we get spring. But I don't really think that there's a spring or an autumn, because sometimes it's just a very drastic change in season. So I think it's sometimes more accurate to say that we have a rainy and a dry season, and the dry season coincides with winter, and it goes from pretty much May until the first half of October or the beginning of October. So we still have a few dry months ahead of us, or a few winter months ahead of us, but sometimes when I see things like this, I doubt everything that I have ever learned and experienced, because I am so sure that there's water coming. But this could be a reason why we've had so many misty mornings in a row. Everything has been coming, and all that moisture in the air, we've been able to feel it. The good thing though is that tomorrow morning, because all the clouds are going to be here, maybe we won't be as cold in the morning. So here's to hope. Now, what are these tracks on the road? All tracks being blown by the wind. So also when it's quite windy like this, it becomes a bit tricky to be able to track, because everything gets blown out, and some tracks you'll see them and you're like, oh, maybe this is not that fresh, and then it's actually quite fresh from the morning. I think last week we also had very, very windy days, and we've got some grey go-away birds here also balancing on top of the trees. Now we've got, no, don't go. Why did you go? Okay, well, he's landed in front of us, so he can still be part of our friend list. All the way there, and it seems like these ones are also feeding on the... No! Okay, he was also feeding on the same plant that I was telling you about this morning, that the hornbills were feeding upon. The senna, what's the name? The monkey pod, which is also an alien species, and you can see it does so well because it started producing its fruit or its nutrient-rich pods during the middle of winter where there isn't too much food available. So of course a lot of animals are going to come and eat it, and then they're going to spread the seeds all over, causing this plant to spread even a little bit more. or spread its conquer of the soil. Alright, where did you go, Grey? Go away. And you see, even the go away bird wasn't too happy or too thrilled about the wind. And I think it's funny because they were all in lower branches of the tree. So maybe we should actually start looking for the birds on the ground rather than carry on looking for them on top of the trees. Seems like maybe we'll get luckier. Alright, seems like Taylor managed to find Mvula, so let's go across to her.
We had a leopard. It's very thick. He's moving through the block now. I just want to call it in on the radio. Stations have relocated on Mvula. We are just on the southern side of the first dip of Gallagher shortcut. He's mobile now in a southeasterly direction. We're just going off-road. We're sort of between the shortcut road on the shortcut and just a little bit further east of that, northeast. I'll try and keep up with him. Right, okay. Just calling it in. Wonderful. How cool is this? Right? Alice, are you impressed that we managed to find him again?
I am impressed.
And Sebastian's impressed. Whew. Peyton, you said that you thought he may have given us the slip. You're quite right. I thought that he had given us the slip, and I was just about to say, right, we're giving up. We're moving out of the area now. We are going elsewhere. We'll go and find Tingana. So, Alice, if you'd like to tell Ellie if she wants to go back to Tingana, she's more than welcome to. I'm going to try and stay with this man for as long as we can. He's just about to walk past an old buffalo carcass, which I presume the lions had many months ago. See how he's now changed direction completely. So we were going straight east. He's now going south. My goodness, he's really giving us the run around. I'm hoping he goes straight towards Gallagher Pan. That would be nice if he goes and has a drink around there, which would be quite good. I am listening out for Lex too. Lex is back on drive. Let me go forward for you. So he wants to come into the sighting, and it would actually suit me a huge amount if he did come into the sighting. Give us a helping hand in trying to follow him. Let's quickly go around. I don't want to get lost behind him again. I just have to find a gap. No. I think we can squeeze through there. No, we can't. We're gonna go on the road and back in again. Woo! Okay, so that's good. We're not far from the pan. Gonna go in here. You we have to go a little bit of a way in. Go through that little mud wallow. Woo! And now we carry on with our off-roading adventure. Yay! It's not nice. Off-roading like this. It's very stressful. I'm expecting a puncture at some point. Please don't break anything. Pretty please. Good Rusty. Oh no, and thorns. The buffalo thorn and the knob thorns are a nightmare. And I can't see the leopard anymore. Please don't scratch me, please. Ow. Okay, we're through. Whew. That was tough. Can you see him yet, Seb? We should be coming out here somewhere. It was a risky maneuver that I did do, but I had to do it. I couldn't go and follow him. It was too thick. Oh no, don't. Not again. Okay, I've seen Lex. So he's coming to help us. Let's just have a look. Lex, if you got my visual, I lost him somewhere around here. He was coming back up towards my vehicle. But yeah, I haven't got visual of him just yet. Where did he go now? This is a tough one. We're all just scanning around us now. Just making sure. Seb, it was about here that he was coming. Do you think he might already be further up? It's such a tough one to try. It's such a gamble. I don't think so though, because he's moving so slowly. I mean, the fact that he's only popped out here now. So I want to turn the car and just see. I'm just going to talk to Lex very quickly. Lex, he was just in here and he changed direction. He was coming this way, but he's walking so slowly. So now I don't know where he is. But hopefully we get him again, because okay, great. So there we go. So we've got an extra pair of eyes and ears. So Lex is also going to drive in and look around. Let's just sit for a little bit. Oh, I can't believe I lost him. What a rookie error. I just couldn't go through that thick stuff again after what we went through about 25 minutes ago. Okay, so Lex will go in over there. This way. I'm sure he's in here somewhere. Mvula. You sneaky sausage. Got him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's sneaky sausage. Lexi was right next to your vehicle. He's behind us. Cool. There we go. Have we got him? Are you keeping? Oh, there. He's laying in the grass. He's laughing at both Lex and I. That is so great. Ah, that's so wonderful. Talk about giving us the slip. That's wonderful. It's so great. You've got to have a sense of humor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and keep this side, because I know Lex has often got keen photographic guests on his vehicle, so I just want to give them an opportunity. So we'll try and keep out of his way. I'm just going to turn the car slightly here. And he's right next to the car. So Lex can then go behind me, or if he wants to go around, he can maneuver wherever he likes. It's very important that we make sure our visitors from all over the world have a fantastic experience, and of course I want to make sure that you all have a fantastic experience too. But we've been lucky watching him the entire time. This is so great. Now, Bree, you've said that this is such, he's got very striking markings. He does, he's a beautiful cat. But like I said, you can just see he looks, like I said, to me he just doesn't look as athletic, you know, as Tingana does. Tingana is definitely a lot more muscly. He's not a small leopard, Mvula. He's definitely quite big, and I can imagine in his prime, my goodness, he would have been a force to reckon with. And I still think he'll give the youngsters a hiding, though he's past that. He doesn't seem to be too bothered. I think he's living the retirement life. He just wants to move in between other leopards and not cause any trouble at all. So you'll see every now and then something grabs his attention. There are a lot of Franklins moving around, but I don't know if there's any Impala at the pan. We did see those ones just further and slightly west of the pan. But maybe he's hearing them and he's around that side, and he'll go around that side because he's changed direction completely now. Let's see. He's listening very carefully, but look at those ears. The flies have really bitten them, and lots of ticks and things causing that. Bushmom, you said that you particularly like his serrated ears. Look at him, he's walking right next to me. This is so cool. We're so lucky. This is now the second big cat encounter we've had today, and it just shows you he walked there himself. I didn't tell him to go there. He was quite happy to walk right around the car, not bothered with our presence at all. And that's amazing. There are very few places in South Africa that you can get a leopard interaction like you do in the Sabi Sands. This has got one of the densest populations for these cats too. So you come here, and I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to see a leopard, but you've got a very, very good chance of seeing one. Whew, how great is that? I'm so excited. Now I'm going to let Lex go in front quickly. We'll let him have a view. He would have had quite a nice view there as he sort of walked past. He walked into a beautiful gap, and then I'm sure everyone would have taken their sneaky photos. And I hope that you are also taking lots of screenshots as we sit and we enjoy this sighting. Remember to share them, hashtag Safari Live, or if you do have any questions for us, you can use that same hashtag. Okay, let's try and get up in front. Now that we've got someone following him from the back, it'll be much easier. Now, Colleen, you're wondering, what does the word Mvula mean? Well, Mvula in many of the African languages means rain, which is quite cool. This is the same little gap we're going to go through. I'm so sorry. No, we're not. We're refusing. I can't go back that way. It's so thick. So we'll let Lex go and then we'll go back around again. It slightly opens up, so we'll have a nice chance. And well, speaking of rain, these clouds don't look too promising either. It's very strange weather that we're having out here this afternoon. Quite miserable, in fact. Windy. It's not too cold yet. Woo, my goodness, that dove almost blew out of the sky. There's a couple of doves and they seem to get blown around with the wind. Okay, let's go around. Rusty, I know I've taken you on serious adventures today, so I'll be nice and we'll let Lex follow the cat and we'll take the scenic way around and try and find an easier way in. I don't want to bash you up too much. Got to be nice to the cars sometimes. I can't always kick their tires and drive them through the thick bush, but they are made for this though. These vehicles are rough and tough and they can quite easily maneuver through the stuff. It's quite nice that they're so small. They are nimble too, so you can squeeze through the gaps that a lot of the bigger vehicles can't, which is really quite nice. Makes it a lot easier for off-roading. Not necessarily more comfortable with the suspension, but definitely off-roading it's quite nice. Okay, so they were just coming this way. We'll just keep an eye out for them from here. Try and navigate through some of these little thorns. Go through here. Don't mind those thorns too much off the acacias. It's the ones like the buffalo thorn and the knob thorns that are hooked. Oh, terrible. Oh, he's going to come out here, I reckon. Sorry. Put your head. Now we're on the road to Gallagher shortcut to the pad. So he should be in here. Yeah, I can see Lex's car. Oh, great. So we're just going to sit patiently now and wait for him to pop out. And hopefully he goes straight towards the pad and has a nice drink for all of us. We can smile, we can take nice photos, we can do all these wonderful things. Let's just see if we can see him coming through this side. Isn't that amazing? I honestly started the safari this afternoon going, I actually had a bit of a negative attitude, I must be honest. I thought, oh, it's windy and we're not going to see nice things and all of this. Have you got the visual of the cat? Oh, there he is. Let me go forward and we'll line him up nicely. We'll get him coming straight towards us. He's just off there, well spotted. And then we had the squirrel just before we went live, leaping off the tree, which was the most magnificent squirrel sighting I've ever had in my entire life. And it was so dramatic, especially because we were talking about flying squirrels this morning. So I thought that was actually just so fitting. There he is, he's just in the distance. And now, just as the show started, now I'm doing spoonerisms and swapping my words around, he popped out right in front of the car. He's going to pop out again, we just have to be patient and watch him. He's just thinking, let me go forward again. Although no, this is a nice gap. If he does come to this termite mound, at least we'll have him out in the open. Here he comes. He's just where that fallen tree is. There we go. He's heading towards the termite mound. So we know that the leopards at the moment are quite fond at checking in the termite mounds, and on a day like today it wouldn't be a bad thing, because it is windy, it is cold, the warthogs might be hiding out in their hidey holes. And if he sticks his head down a burrow, he could quite easily pull one out, and maybe that's what he's going to do. I'm going to go backwards for you, Seb, is that alright? You can stay like that. You just see a bit of a shadow, don't worry, that's just me getting you guys a good spot. Oh no, he's going to sit. Okay, I think we'll just watch him from here though. We'll let Lex get a spot and then we'll go in after him. So we'll make sure they can get a nice view. Like I said, we've been so lucky, and we do want to be courteous to the people who have joined us and spent a large amount of money on coming on a safari. And we don't want to have too many cars moving around at once either. I always talk of this experiment we did where we laid down on the ground and we had 3 different vehicles driving around our heads. It was the most horrific experience. Okay, let's go in there. I think we can maybe find a better gap. So I couldn't hear anything, and it was just great to sort of feel what the animals might be feeling. And now, you know, our hearing is really terrible in comparison to these big cats. You learn very quickly how important it is just to limit the movement. They're very tolerant of us. They don't mind us following them through the bush. You've quite clearly seen that. We're going to go all the way around. We'll come around the other side. We have another gap. So he's very obliging. And we want to say thanks to that and give him the most pleasant experience. That's actually quite nice. I'll angle the car a bit better for you, Seb. How's that? How great is that? That is very, 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 very pretty to have a leopard sitting up on a termite mound next to a jackalberry. No, it's not a jackalberry, I'm talking utter nonsense. It's a brachypatelis, a weeping boerbean. Beautiful. Hello, beautiful boy. And there does look like there is a den of some sort around here too, at the base of the tree. Probably warthogs. Or maybe even a potential site for the hyenas. I don't know who's living in all these burrows. It's sometimes hard to, of course, keep track. But a lovely long tail. It's one of the most beautiful things, of course, about these big cats is their striking coloration. He is lovely. What a gorgeous animal. I'm glad we stuck with him and we didn't give up too soon, because otherwise we would have missed this, and who knows what we would be doing. And we know Tingana was sitting in the long grass earlier, and hopefully he'll wake up and start feeding. Any word on Ellie's plans, Alice? Has she decided? Is she going to go towards Chitwa? Okay. We're going to see what Ellie's plans are for the afternoon. It would be nice if we could get Tingana again. Like I said, though, I'm holding on to the sighting for as long as possible. This is nice. I haven't been able to spend quality time with a leopard from, finding it first go and then losing it and then finding it again. It's all very rewarding. So I think we've put in enough work to deserve a spot here for quite some time. But this is absolutely lovely. Very windy. And he looks like he's just taking a break now too. Okay, so it seems as though Ellie is also going to go to a spotted cat. She's going to head down back towards Tingana. It'll probably be easier for her to relocate on him, seeing as she knows the exact spot that he was last seen him. But look at those flies on his ears. Can you see those little midge-like things? And those flies bite really, really sore. I saw a couple of them also flying around. Actually, I don't know if those are flies too. Oh, are they? They do look like it. Yeah, I can see their little wings sticking out. And they'll be drawing blood from Tingana. And I think he's just so used to it now, he puts up with them. I wouldn't be. I'd be shaking my head all the time. It's quite terrible. And you'll know that if you've got dogs at home, the flies do similar things to dogs' ears. I used to bite my horse's ears too. Wow, what a great day. I can't get over it. This is what you live for. This is what you wish every single safari is like. And it's sometimes nice when you don't have all the action every single day, because you really then do appreciate days like what we have. We've been lucky. Every day has been quite great in terms of sightings. Between Ellie and I, we've seen an abundance of different creatures. Hey boy, I just hope you don't go to sleep now. I hope you continue on with your missions. It's so peaceful, just the wind rustling. He's very eager to catch something. He's sort of like the Nkuhumas the other night. Every time they heard a noise, they would get up and walk towards it, hoping that it would be a potential meal. I think he's feeling the same kind of hunger. He doesn't really show it too much, though. Like I said, his stomach is slightly saggy. You can see all that extra skin. And normally when they do gorge themselves, they blow up like a balloon. But you can't see his ribs just yet, or his vertebrae. So he's not dying for a meal. He'll still be okay for probably another day or so. And it might take him another 24 hours before he even catches something. Sometimes it's just nice to sit quietly and just appreciate what we're actually looking at. And then I'm also just going to rub it in a little bit that this is my job. Hey Mvula, don't you think it's unfair that you and I just get to live in the bush our whole lives and do amazing things? You entertain me, I'm sure I entertain you sometimes. You probably laugh at me when you give us the slip. And hopefully if you are watching at work, you're doing so and you're being sneaky, and we're providing some entertainment to your day. Now, where did you go, young man? Where did you go? Then we've got to get out of here again. Off he goes. Back towards the road and back towards the pan. He's just crossing now. We'll try and stick with him. I don't know how bad the off-roading is going to be through here. We'll do a little bit. There we go, good. Under there. Just watch that. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to keep bumbling about and try and get another view of Tingana, see where he goes. I'm going to send you across to Ellie, who's on her way to, well, the king of Djuma.
Well, we are, but we are still quite far away, and we're still on our search for elephants. Funny enough, just as we raised our heads, there was far in the distance, we saw an elephant crossing from Torchwood into Little Gowrie. So he went from a non-traversing area to another one, and we just had a brief visual of it crossing on the road. I think maybe that's where that herd that we had this morning, it was roughly heading in an easterly direction. So I think maybe the ones that we saw in the morning with that little cheeky one that was busy charging and trying to intimidate us, they carried on into Torchwood. Now I want to see, well, I'm gonna carry on the road, see if perhaps we manage to have another look at those elephants before they go a bit too far. And the wind seems like it's howling over here. A few times I've had to get a hold of my cap and just bring it down because the wind is almost pretty much scented flying. And of course, as it always happens, I also had a little bug fly into my eye, so I think I've got maybe the wings of it still in my eye. It happens. These are the real life problems of a ranger, eating this or eating flies when you drive around. But oh well, luckily it wasn't a dung beetle. I've had that before to the eye, and that is definitely not a pleasant experience. Rightio. Now, I was mentioning to you guys earlier on that if perhaps Tundi and Tumba, if they cross this road ahead of us, this is the Molowati. So it goes all the way towards Djuma in the Gowrie Dam, and then it goes all the way further down here. So if they were to come and cross over here, it would be almost impossible for us to pick up any tracks on the road unless we manage to see some of their tracks on the sand. The tracks in the sand are, or can be, very difficult to find, so I wonder if perhaps Tumba is also somewhere in there and we just haven't been able to pick up on any other tracks. Like I said, funny how it works. At one point all I did was close my eyes and I could just see leopard tracks going up and down and up and down, and now we can't find them because they're all stuck in the same place together. Ooh, my eye. Alright, let's see what else there is. Hopefully. Now, I think the elephant crossed roughly around here, but there don't seem to be any signs for it. I can't even see the tracks on the road. Maybe it crossed a bit further away and I'm just getting ahead of myself. Maybe not. They would have gone from an area that's slightly a bit more open on our left hand side onto a thicker area onto our right hand side. Interesting. I wonder if perhaps that Ellie's going to try and make its way all the way to Chitwa Dam at some point. That would be very nice of it. Chitwa Dam is not that far, I suppose, for elephant distances. So I would really much like it to go, but I reckon we're going to arrive to Chitwa Dam right before the elephant does, which I'm sure would not be too ideal. Alright. So I wonder, last time there was a storm like this, or stormy weather like this one, and we went all the way to Chitwa Dam, the wind, my goodness, we almost felt like we were going to be blown away, vehicle included. Now, here are some elephants, yay! Now, let's see which one is the best one to view. Seems like we have managed to find a small breeding herd. And there's a bull. Well, okay. This one on this side is the best one to view. Hello. A bit more back, sorry. Getting there. There we go. Sorry, you see, typically this happens all the time. I'm busy looking onto my left hand side and I spot all the herd, but then I miss the very obvious one standing next to the road. Now it seems like we've got a young bull over here. Likely he is starting to go ahead of the rest of the herd. Doesn't want to be too close to all of them because he's a strong and independent bull. No need to have all the ladies around, do you? Ah, stretching out to get the juicy branches all the way on the top there. Alright, seems like Taylor has had a bit more luck with Mvula, so let's go over to her, as I believe Mvula is quenching his thirst. Afternoon, station.
He is quenches his thirst, and I'm taking illegal photographs because this is too pretty to pass up. My goodness, he's taking us through the bushes like you have no idea today. But we really have worked hard, and what a reward to finally see him having a drink of water. You good man, you. He really is a lovely leopard. He's put on a fantastic show, and even though we don't get to see him too often, it really is so nice when we do. He's got beautiful eyes too. He's got Tumba's eyes. He's a lovely, lovely, lovely old man, aren't you? Oh, you know those allergies. Achoo! Oh, excuse me. Oh, this dust, you know, it's just so terrible at this time of the year. Of course, I'm just teasing. I was just being quite sneaky and taking a picture. But it is lovely. You know, I haven't spent time with these animals for such a long time. I think I deserved it. I'm just going to pat myself on the back quickly. And he doesn't seem to be too concerned drinking at the water's edge. Normally when you see things like cheetah and leopard, of course, coming down, they often look over his shoulder. And he's doing that every now and then, but not a huge worry from him. Now, I don't know if you're going to hear him drinking. Now, Jenny, imagination from Indonesia. You're wondering if this is a man-made dam. It is indeed. It's a little pan. It's one of the pumped pans that we have. So we've got a little one up at Buyatela Dam where the nest cam is. And then this one is just right behind Galago, which is one of the lodges on Djuma Private Game Reserve. So that's exactly where we are. But it's not a big one. It's just a little bit. There we go. I think he's done with drinking water now. Look at that reflection. You can see the water's not particularly clean. Somebody's been in here and churned it all up. There have been impala, probably warthogs, maybe a buffalo or anything along those lines. And there's also some francolins walking straight towards them, some crested francolins. I don't know if they've seen the leopard yet. And we know this is now will be the second time we have seen silly francolins walking straight towards big cats. Remember, we had that family of about 7 walk towards the lions the other afternoon. And they're watching him, so they're not making a noise. Perhaps they've obviously seen him and they don't want to give away their presence. So we were definitely driving in the right areas, because this is the same route. There go the francolins, just passing behind him. Quickly run! Right, let's go forward. And we'll keep going. Ooh, this is so wonderful. What a fantastic afternoon. Yes, francolins, run, 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 run as fast as you can. Tingana might be an old man, but I'm sure he could catch you if he really wanted to. And he's just stopped again. We'll have a quick look at him as he just starts to disappear down into the drainage. Now we're going to have to play leapfrog, I'm afraid, because there are the vehicles in the sighting. And if he goes down into this Tumbuti thicket, we're not going to be able to follow him. We'll have to wait for him to come out on the other side. So that might mean ages of staring into the bushes. But it'll be worth it, I can promise you. That's exactly what he's doing. Down into the drainage line towards the Tumbutis, hoping to find a meal. But I'm going to send you back across now to Ellie and see what she's got for you.
Well, we managed to find the rest of the herd, and slowly but surely they've been coming out into the open, which is quite nice. And there are a few babies all around, some more young bulls like this one that we're looking at, and they're all pretty much feeding all around. So I think there is a good possibility that this is the same one that we saw earlier on, judging by where we saw them and the direction that they were going into. So I don't know, maybe we'll just have to see if there's a little tiny one coming out of the bushes and charging to find out if it's really them or if it's someone else. Beautiful. It's a very interesting afternoon today with all these gloomy skies and all the Ellies all around. Hello, young boy. Said you're wondering who leads the herd, a male or a female, and why. Well, elephants are known to be a matriarchal society, which means that there's one female that's going to lead them, and she's going to determine what they do and where they go and when they go. So it is normally the older female in the herd, and she is the one that will determine pretty much everything in terms of their life. Now, this is because the females, they live all together in groups of females with the youngsters, and then the male, as they become older, they become independent and they don't spend too much time with the females. They'll actually either associate with other male elephants for short periods of time, or they will just trail the breeding herds for mating opportunities. But they pretty much play no role in the raising of the youngsters. I've got two little ones over there. Aren't they sweet? Pushing each other around. Following the mother. And smelling us. Very often elephants will do that, and they'll raise their trunk just to be able to smell everything that's around them. So with the wind blowing the way that it is and constantly swirling, I'm sure there are many different smells that are coming all the way towards these elephants. And especially if you're a little one, you can imagine how curious they must be of all these new scents that they're picking up. Seems like she's eating that tree with a fury. And there goes the little brave one, all the way on its own. Perhaps it is the same youngster from this morning. And you see, it's already learned to do that sneaky move that elephants do, whereby they smell us without really showing that they are. Nick, you're wondering if the leader of the herd changes or it remains fixed. Well, if the leader dies, then very likely her daughter, her oldest daughter, will take over the leading of the herd. However, it sometimes does happen that as the matriarch starts becoming older, that her oldest daughter, while this matriarch is still alive, will take over the movements of the herd and will become the new matriarch. But it's not a fight like there is with some of the other creatures to establish their dominance and that they are the one that has got all the power. Nice takeaway food over there. Colleen, you say this is so precious. I agree. I think spending time with baby elephants is something to really treasure because they're always up to something. And it's just so funny that something that's so small yet so big acts the way it does. And I've been really enjoying having all of these elephants around. I'm so happy they returned. We have missed you guys. Welcome back. Tard, you're wondering if herds of more than 100, if they still have only one matriarch. Well, very likely what will happen is that herds of more than 100 are a lot of family groups and distantly related females. So I would assume that every herd that's got so many individuals has got smaller herds within the bigger herd. Now, When they get a bit too big, then you will see that perhaps some females will split from the main group and start moving independently from the herd that they were born into, but they will always remember and be affectionate with the rest of the herd that they've known. So I think in herds of such big numbers, likely what we are seeing is a lot of family groups all together rather than just one big herd. Here we've got another female. I think perhaps this is the oldest daughter of the other female that we saw walking around. And while she's feeding, maybe she's also been helping keep an eye out on the other two youngsters that we saw, because she seems still a bit too young for me to start having calves of her own. But who knows? Elephants start becoming, or female elephants become sexually reproductive when they're about 12, 14 years of age. So it could be just right for her. Judy, you're wondering if a female never has any offspring, if she could still be in charge. Well, that's quite an interesting question, because a lot of the time the matriarchs there will impart some level of knowledge in regards to how to look after the youngsters, where to take them, and how to handle different situations. But I would imagine that perhaps she would be a bit of an outcast, because all of the female elephant's life is centered around the youngsters and the raising of them. So I'm not too sure if that would be possible. I'm leaning towards saying no, and I say this because I know in certain reserves or areas where elephants are not allowed to, or are prevented from having youngsters, females that have been able to conceive seem to have a bit of a higher status, and the ones that don't, it's almost like they're a bit repudiated by the rest of the group, as is that they're not fulfilling their life goals. And sometimes they even get jealous, and I've seen them try to steal each other's babies or try to steal the attention. I think it would become quite unusual for a female that has never conceived to be the leading matriarch of a particular herd. Oh my goodness, somebody wants to break that tree. Nick, you're wondering if elephants ever get expelled from the herd. Well, sort of. That's what happens to the young males. They don't get expelled in the aggression levels that perhaps we see in some of the other predators. But definitely as the youngsters become adolescents, and they'll be maybe about 12, 15 years of age, they become a bit too boisterous, and the females become less tolerant of them, and they get a bit of annoyed with the rest of the herd. So they start lagging behind, and they don't move all the time with the herd, and eventually they just pretty much stop following the herd around and do their own thing, because they want to, and also because the females sort of force them into, because they don't want their annoying attitude all around type of thing. So just with the males. And then, well, of course, if we had, for example, a big herd around here, and there was an elephant from another herd, an intruder, then they would not take too well to that, and very likely try to force it away from their area. And you see, the grass is very sandy around here, and that's why that elephant hasn't eaten it yet. He keeps dusting it off, trying to get all of the sand and the dust off of it before it feeds on it. Seemed like it was a bit undecided there for a moment. There we go. Getting all the sand out. Did you even throw that bunch of grass? I think this is a little boy that's having a bit of a tantrum. It's almost like he's being forced to eat something he doesn't like, and he keeps shaking it like, if I have to eat this, fine, I will. Reminds me of a few of my nephews. Lots of dirt there. I don't think you're being too clever there. You're going for the sandiest patch possible. Oh my goodness. Seems like the one on the right, though, has realized that perhaps it shouldn't copy everything its older sibling does, and is just focusing on a bit of a less sandier patch. So it seems like slowly but surely they're moving up, and I'm sure later on today they're going to make their way all the way to Chitwa Dam. It's just going to take them still a little bit of a while to get there, I'm sure. Those elephants take it easy. He's so funny. It's almost like he wants to eat it, but he doesn't like it, but he's hungry, so he will still eat it. Leslie, you say